Hi, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining the webcast today. Uh, I would also like to introduce our speakers for the panel today. We have Navdeep from LD Foods, we have Panchu from Bombay Pow, and we have Ashutosh from mylovetriangle.com. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Well,
you, Rahul. Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Rahul, for inviting us.
Thank you so much.
All the best, Rahul.
Thank you. So I would just get started. Please let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes,
Oh,
it is visible.
great. So as we get started, I'd like to thank all of you once again for being a part of this webcast, which is focused on strategies to improve profitability with real-time food monitoring and quality in every bite served. And as we have our distinguished speakers today who are from, so Navdeep is from quality management background for LD Foods, which is an export company for dried onion and other dried spices products. We have Panchu from Bombay Pow, which is a bakery product, and we have Ashutosh from My Love Triangle, which is a food delivery service, food delivery van service, which is a new kind of a concept, which is very innovative, right? So I would just get started. Please let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes,
Oh,
it is visible.
great. So as we get started, I'd like to thank all of you once again for being a part of this webcast, which is focused on strategies to improve profitability with real-time food monitoring and quality in every bite served. And as we have our distinguished speakers today who are from, so Navdeep is from quality management background for LD Foods, which is an export company for dried onion and other dried spices products. We have Panchu from Bombay Pow, which is a bakery product, and we have Ashutosh from My Love Triangle, which is a food delivery service, food delivery van service, which is a new kind of a concept, which is very innovative, right? So the agenda for today would be a little bit of farm to plate introduction, the importance of real-time food monitoring, benefits of real-time food monitoring, real-world applications that are in practice today, a couple of case studies, and key technologies used, problem overview, core challenges in the general trade, statistical insights, impact on profitability, steps to implement real-time monitoring, overcoming implementation challenges, and farm to plate features. And then we'll have a Q&A discussion with our panel. So while we have a farm to plate introduction, we are a food supply chain platform which is trying to revolutionize the whole end-to-end first mile to last mile food processing and delivery, procurement, processing and delivery with the technology integration using blockchain, AI, IoT, and traceability via QR codes. We have specialized features around farmer tipping, where consumers can directly reach out through our mobile app, and they can reach out by tracing the QR code journey of the food to tip the farmers if they like the product quality. Our vision is to build the future supply chain ecosystem, and our mission is to excel every participant in the food supply chain, right? So, laying down the importance of real-time food monitoring, so we have seen the food industry challenges, which are around food safety concerns, food recalls, couple of supply chain inefficiencies due to disconnected supply chain, and regulatory compliance and governance. Uh, what we thought is making customer aware that when you serve quality food ingredients in every SKU, it boosts the customer satisfaction, increases loyalty and repeat business, and possibly lowers the rates of recalls, right? And we have real-time monitoring technologies that we are using AI, IoT, and drone and satellite-based pre and post harvesting monitoring that provides continuous insights and rapid response ability to maintain food production quality, right? Um, Furthermore, the visibility helps in reducing wastage, helps in compliance, and better governance, right? Uh, Couple of high key level pointers, reducing food recalls. So early food contamination detections minimizes the recalls, adhering to safety standards, reducing risk and penalties. And this is a very hot practice right now in the US, which is a heavy export economy and exports about two-thirds of its food from other countries. And they are coming up with FISMA 2026, which focuses heavily on food visibility compliance, right? Where does the food originate and how it gets processed and reaches the customers. And around the operational efficiencies, we have real-time data tracking, which aids quicker decision making and resource optimization. And we also look at boosting the customer satisfaction and increasing customer loyalty through sharing the uh, live journey of your product to the customer through QR code traceability, right? A couple of real world examples. Walmart has implemented a 7-day tracking period for mangoes, which is it actually provides 2.2 seconds tracking. Every 2.2, there's a live update that goes to the supply chain stakeholders. And also Amazon uses a inventory management system that leverages advanced algorithm real-time analysis to optimize the stock levels, right? Uh, our case study with fishmongers, we saw that they had a huge requirement of traceability, where the fishermen were unable, stakeholders of the company were unable to get the real-time visibility from the fishermen as to what was the fresh catch, and when it was transported, there was a lot of contamination sometimes, right? So we helped them integrate the entire supply chain with real-time visibility. And now they have expanded to Gulf countries as well, and they have increased 5x with us in the last 3 years. This is also a real-world application that we built for a dairy company where from we are solving the problem of milk distribution and the cold chain monitoring for ice creams and milk, which has to be stored below -5 degrees to -26 degrees respectively. And each track each city, when the dispatch is given, we monitor a couple of parameters for them, or in a real time, which is partial truckload, time of arrival, actual time taken to travel, temperature and destination, right? And other vitals important for especially the cold chain monitoring, temperature monitoring. Um, the technologies that we're using in real-time food monitoring is IoT sensors, another IoT device like soil testing devices for farms. And we also have drones and GPS-based pre-harvesting and post-harvesting tracking, using data analytics and machine learning for tracking the entire analytics and providing real-time actionable insights, and integrating with existing systems, which is very important for interoperability and ease of use. Uh, the problem that we're trying to solve, there's an extensive range of channels, which is introducing significant complexity. Today, you have to distribute through modern trade, which has a number of channels, right? And there is a lack of granular visibility within the supply chains. Numerous moving components, complex operations, and large-scale changes for logistics and network optimization is challenging and costly. As you grow through from a small supply chain to a mid-size supply chain, we have seen that the small supply chains have a profitability between 6 to 8%, and as they grow, they tend to reach the profitability of 15%, but that is not sustainable due to lack of monitoring and systems, the right systems in place, and they lose on profitability, and they're not able to sustain that profitability while they're growing through from mid to large, right? So Core challenges that are there is visibility, inaccurate demand, granular demand forecasting, and the complexity as well. So while we are also tracking the complete last mile, first mile to last mile journey, we are also focused on providing the demand forecasts and the whole supply chain planning tool for mid-size and early stage supply chains, so that they can effectively do integrated business planning for the entire distribution and the procurement cycles. Right. So impact of profitability. What we have seen through from a couple of our customers is that with the end-to-end visibility and end-to-end integrated supply chain management, we get about 5 to 15% profitability increase from waste reduction and quality control. With waste reduction is minimizing the recalls or the out of shelf life products, specifically for out of shelf life product forecasting for companies where there are a couple of products that can be recalled from the market easily, but for very low shelf life products, we have a very high wastage rates, right? Then we also see 6 to 8% profitability improvement through the logistics and lot tracking, 1% revenue boost with the every 5% accuracy bump, and 7 to 8% in food reduction wastage. Current steps to implement real-time tracking monitoring. We have we assess the current processes, and then we implement the continuous monitoring and alerts. Also, it's very important to choose the right technology, which is scalable, which is cost effective, and which is robust and secure, right? And then training the staff and stakeholders is also a very important factor within the adoption of a supply chain tool. Overcoming the implementation challenges, cost and complexity, solutions and best practices, resistance to change. Cost is a very important factor because as we are adopting cloud-based solutions, the cost of adoption goes very high. So we have to plan the whole infrastructure and the the architecture in a way that we have more serverless components and lesser IOs on the cloud, and the best practices of some of the large supply chains have to be adopted around stakeholder participation, around integration of the data points, and providing the real-time actionable insights. And we have also seen that there is a reluctance in the current ecosystem to change the existing systems or to adopt new systems because of cost, because of adoption challenges and whatnot. And farm to plate features we just like to introduce, but before that we would like to stop for a small Q&A session with our speakers. Over to you. Right. So we have our panelist Ashutosh. So Ashutosh will be having certain questions to you first. So our first question is around profitability and food wastage. In your experience with Food Tech Ventures, how do you see the food wastage impacting your profitability, particularly in the context of a delivery service like yours?
Well, first of all, thank you for the introduction and for sharing your insights into food tracing. It's very interesting. Some of the technologies that you're talking about, one would like to hear more about, especially the ability to track and trace food traceability using satellites and GPS. Sounds very interesting and exciting. Your specific question, as far as Food Tech Ventures, just to give everybody an introduction, we are a small pizza delivery service wherein instead of baking and then delivering our pizzas, we bake them while delivering so that they're ready just when they reach you. And you get them fresh and hot off the oven, 3 minutes and not 30 minutes out of the oven, just like you would in your favorite dining restaurant. As far as food traceability and cost of food wastage on profitability, It's pretty straightforward, obviously. The more the lesser the wastage, the higher the profit. But it is, I think, the way food traceability can help, which is what I understood in terms of the capabilities of the platform that you're offering, is that if we are able to trace back each batch's wastage to the source, then
Mhm.
obviously we know which sources are prone to more wastage and which are not, something which is not transparent as of today, because uh, it is not farm to plate, it is mandi to plate. And in that scenario, uh, it's even in the 21st century, it's the draw of the luck. And you really cannot know and are operating by laws of averages
Right.
on each ingredient's food cost, each ingredient's food wastage and its impact on cost. So if technology today can help us trace back wastage to the farm, uh, in addition to other qualities, of course, such as flavor, which in my opinion is the most important, because profitability is a function of revenue and cost. And in my opinion, while large companies which are focused on mass producing few or one SKU will benefit a lot from cost reduction. People such as us who are dishing out the final product to the consumer would also equally benefit from the enhancement of the finished product's taste, which can lead to higher consumer loyalty, repeat rates, and therefore increased revenue.
Right.
So just to kick the discussion off, the most interesting application for me is to be able to trace it back to the source and then find the sources which are prone to less wastage. We differentiate between wastage as, so wastage is different from spoilage. Wastage is the yield that you lose. Um, for example, broccoli, you cannot use the whole of the plant, and a part of it has to be thrown away, almost 20-30% by weight. So to me, to be able to go back to a farm where there is more meat on the bone and less bone would be a great benefit.
Got it. Got it. Thank you so much for that insight, Ashutosh. Any specific tracing practices, perhaps, as you mentioned, right now you're doing it, probably you might be doing it manually right now, but have you ever thought of or implementing any sort of tracing practice, or are you introspecting anything that sort?
Absolutely. And for a number of reasons. The ability to be able to um, identify each ingredient's journey in the supply chain, uh, if possible, QR based, because that seems to be the easiest, from bulk sourcing to storage to production of the different ingredients to their consumption into the final product that is being dished out to the consumer, wherein at each stage you are able to identify forward or backward which batch the ingredient. I mean, so we work with 40 ingredients as a pizza delivery company.
Mm-hmm.
And the ability, some ingredients are important for flavor, some are important for cost. They all have a shelf life, which is small. So to be able to do this on in a platform where at each stage of the process you are able to scan a QR code and unitize and therefore track the movement of the raw ingredients is something that we are working on, but we find that it is uh, very expensive to implement
Mm-hmm.
its current form. It's complex. You need a lot of technical capability to be able to do it. And obviously, there are issues around training and the biggest one being you can put in place all sorts of systems, but the people who are operating those systems need to be incentivized properly to be able to ensure that those systems are actually followed. And it's not just a box checking exercise. It's खाना पूर्ति है जिसे हम बोलते हैं.
Got it. Got it. Great, great. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Navdeep. I think we lost
Hi,
Ashok
Ramji.
in between. Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for being there. Yeah.
Thank you so much to you too for giving me this opportunity to interact with you.
Sure. Sure. So I would start with the first question, Navdeep, which is, can you share some insights around, on the primary causes of food wastage in your specific business, like particularly in the context of seasonings and bakery products, or the specific dried materials that you use?
Uh, okay, Rahulji, right now I'm working in a, as you mentioned, I'm working in a dried ingredients export company. But previously, I have worked in bakery and seasoning industries, and both are entirely different kind of industries. Bakery is a FMCG product. It will be on the shelf for max to max 10 days at the maximum. And seasoning has a better shelf stable product. So when we take bakery, most of the kind of wastages would be from the market returns, customer returns, or bad ingredient mix up. So when I was working with my bakery unit, we used to have a specific manpower to incinerate the market return breads, because it's not economically feasible, because once it has left the factory, we don't have any control over the product. We don't know where it has gone, where it is, through which chain it will pass, and the product which is not under our control, we cannot uh, use economically.
Right. Right.
If you look at the seasoning industry, it's a bit shelf stable, and the major kind of wastages or like lack would come from slob stock, that is slow moving and obsolete stocks.
Okay.
Could be due to the overproduction or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, the, most of the time I have felt that the wastages that we face can be stopped with effective tracing, shelf life alert system, some systems like that, wherein we know when the product is about to be expired or when it has to move out of the shelf. And yeah,
Right. Okay. Thank you. Sure. Also, would like to know any specific KPIs that you're using into day-to-day operations to drive profitability improvements?
in terms of KPI, in seasonings we used to use the shelf life monitoring. Apart
Okay.
from that, if you look at the GFSI standards also, there is a specific requirement in BRCGS that mentions that the company should have a running shelf life study.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so a shelf life study, what would it do? That it will give us an insight into how the product will, how the product characteristic will be affected when it is going through the shelf life.
Okay.
Like at each stage, what the characteristic of the product would be. So that can be considered as a good KPI or.
Okay. Sure. Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Uh, and just one question: with your background in the food technology and specifically around quality, what technological advancements do you see most promising for improving food monitoring and tracing?
Okay, like there are a lot of areas where the right now we have scope for advancements. For example, in the B2C industry, B2B, most of the, like in B2B, most of the established companies are required to have a blockchain traceability, whether it be forward or backward. But in B2C, the traceability from the farm level or the origin level to the consumer level is very difficult. Once the product has left the company or has reached the retailer, up to the retailer, okay, we can track. But after it has left the retailer, there is no option to track.
Correct.
So there are options in that area where we can develop some kind of systems which give us an exact track of from where the product originated and where it is destined or where it is going to reach.
Sure. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Uh, Panchu, question to you. Uh, how do you perceive the relationship between food wastage and profitability in the your specific company?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rahul, for this insightful discussion. It's indeed a great technology that you're developing and helping these food companies to reduce the wastage. For my specific company, actually, I am dealing with a product which is a very low shelf life product. Actually, it's just 2 days shelf life because I am producing the Mumbai Ladi Pav here in Kolkata. So the weather is different and the ingredients are different. And just to suit it to the Kolkata market, I am tweaking the recipe a little bit so that I have a shelf life of 2 days. Uh, so here, for me, the wastage is directly linked to the profitability because if the product is not moving off the shelf within a day or two, then I have to take it back, and it cannot be used in any form actually, because since I'm not, if you are aware of the Mumbai Pav, it's just three, four ingredients that we use, and it's without any preservative, so molds get developed very easily. So you cannot use it anywhere. I need to just dump it, and it can be used as a fish feed. That's it. That's the only thing I can use it for. So yeah, for me, it's a direct revenue loss because I have to replace the product, and yeah, and then the opportunity loss, and obviously the raw material wastage that I'm incurring.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any specific monitoring practice that you have implemented in your operations to minimize the wastage and enhancing profitability?
So we are just at a very small scale. To be frank, we are at around 4 to 5 lakh per month revenue, and it is purely B2B now, and we will be venturing into B2C, wherein a robust tracking mechanism needs to be in place. Maybe yeah, farm to plate will help me with that for sure. But for B2B, so the kind of operations that I have developed, it's daily production and daily supply. So that's how I'm tracking. The data is fetched from a real-time Google sheet. That's what I'm working with on now, and so it's not that much volume, so it's easy to control and easy to maintain. But yeah, I'm sure if once the volume increases, it will be very difficult to manage those tracking.
Right. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ashutosh, I would come back to you now. One of the important questions that I have in mind, you know, how does your culinary team contribute to, minimizing the food wastage? Like, are there any solutions that you're using to automate the recipes and all? Like, basically, today we in lot of food manufacturing rather than I would call restaurants or food manufacturing places. We use AI-based, bots to sort of automate the recipes for the chefs, right? Because chefs can use the recipes and use the exact ingredients. That's one of the things on the operation sides. But in general, the choosing the products and all, do you see the culinary team's experience and minimizing the wastage?
So, if I understand your question correctly, what contribution does the culinary team, as in the chefs that we use to make the pizzas, make towards the wastage reduction process?
Correct.
I think culinary team can be the biggest enabler for reduction in food wastage as well as the biggest culprits, both, because they are the people on whom the ultimate food wastage is dependent. Um, the solution that we have implemented partially and are in the process of implementing is for us, we bake pizzas, and unlike a traditional pizzeria, which bakes several pizzas at a time and executes several orders um, in parallel, our order execution is serial because we go from house to house and bake the pizzas. So, in order to reduce food wastage, what we do is, and also in order to improve the accuracy of the recipe implementation itself, is that we unitize our ingredients. Usually in a pizzeria, you will see a bain marie with all the ingredients in bulk kept in front of the pizzaiolo, and he is picking up ingredients and putting them in on the pizza. But in our case, what we do is that we unitize. So each one of our 40 ingredients is unitized and packed in a vacuum sealed container wherein we suck out the liquids, etc. So that A, it leads to higher shelf life if you are vacuum sealed, and B, there is less mistake in terms of the quantity, exact quantity of ingredients that goes on to the pizzas. C, there is less variation from pizza to pizza or chef to chef. So yeah, unitization of each one of the 40 ingredients according to the recipe is something that has helped us a lot.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much. With that, we come to our end of the Q&A. Thank you for all the speakers. We'll quickly switch over to the rest of the PPD, and then we'll leave the house open for questions. Great. So thank you all the speakers. And now we move to the last section, which is farm to plate features, the future of food monitoring. While we're using the emerging technologies, which is geofencing and advanced GPS and location monitoring sensors. Recently, for one of our clients, we tracked the pre-harvesting of a specific SKU and gave them a nearly 99.9% visibility into the crop inspection, right? We also have drone-based monitoring for pre-harvesting seasons. Then we have IoT-based handheld soil testing devices, which reduces the cost also and the time by almost 90% in terms of checking the NPK compounds. And then we have mobile-based supply chain monitoring, where we have a mobile-based app which allows you to trace the product post-harvesting right from the farm. Where a lot of speakers did mention about the mandi process. We are also working at the farmer registration process, where if you want your specific contract farms to sort of get digitalized, we also are in that process. And apart from that, we provide analytics and digital solutions for the end-to-end BI dashboards and advanced AI features for inventory management, warehouse management, and demand forecasting. Right. On top of it, we have a multi-stakeholder digital invitation platform where all the supply chain participants can be invited to basically from your, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, from your first tier suppliers to the last mile distributors, right? With that, I'll give the presentation to, I'll give the chance to Debashish to present our quick demo of a solution, right? Debashish, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Rahul. I'll quickly give a glimpse of the end state of what we call as the QR code. So primarily, we try to capture the entire set of traceability information from various stakeholders and encompass it into a QR code. So just to give you an experience of it, how it would come up if you can scan this QR code, and then I can showcase this journey. So you can use your mobile cameras and just try scanning the QR code. You should be getting a public URL. You can just click on it to experience the journey.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you can also switch to the way the output that looks like.
Yeah. I hope everyone has done their scanning and the URL opens up. I'm just switching over on the web. So this is a sample product just to showcase the kind of the product IDs that we maintain, the GTIN numbers, the lot in which it has come up, the individual items, serialized item number that is also there. And then that short description, and then the tipping video, which gives input to the end consumer as well, that they can go ahead and tip the upstream partner, be it the farmer, fisherman or so. And then we have the shelf life, the dates, the manufacturing and the expiry date, and then the journey. So the entire journey from what the supplier has done with the product, the processes which have underwent at the supplier stage, with data timestamp, and then to the manufacturer, what the particular manufacturer is. So the locations have been mentioned so that we also understand these people are in different geographic locations, because there are a lot of uh, imports happening from a supplier which is in a different geographic location, and to the processor who is in a different geographic location. So that way, all the processes at each stage is being captured with date and timestamp, and then it goes down to the distribution channels. So this way, the underlying technology being blockchain, we are able to capture the data at each stage, and this helps for a good amount of record keeping and traceability. So the rest of the information is about the nutrient information, the ingredients which are used, the origin of this. Any consumption guidelines, we can mention about any allergen information about the food product, and then who's manufactured it. And also we have a provision to have the catalog of other products being sold by the same brand. So this is one way where we can showcase the end consumer as well, how they are able to trace back, because everybody is quite cautious about the food that they intake. And currently the market just gives the 2 dates. And with the data-backed approach, I think it would be more convincing for the customer, and because people are looking towards organic food and others. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Debashish. And now I would leave the floor open for the participants if they have any questions. Does any of the participants have any questions around anything specific related to the webinar, or anything other than that around supply chain best practices? We have a couple of experts on the panel, like Mr. Sanjeev Puri, who's an ex-Unilever. So if anybody has questions, they may ask now.
Rahulji, may I add something?
Sure, sure.
Yeah, so just this is for the general audience. Right now, I'm working in a dehydrated industry, and the traceability, since the product is directly coming from the farm, traceability is a very big challenge for us. Like at the farmer level, the farmer is not that much technically educated. So that's when I uh, talked with the farm to plate team, and they have come up with a solution. They have come up with a very well planned solution to establish an entire blockchain traceability from farm up to the customer level, where we can market our products also with the QR code, and the customer would know when and where the product was processed. So that's a very like good initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Navdeep ji, for calling out that. I really appreciate that as your gesture. Thank you.
Let me come in here, Rahul.
Sure.
This is Sanjeev this side. And for all the viewers, this has been a very good initiative by Rahul, where he has brought a paradigm of food industry, where there is a 2-day expiry of a bun to maybe 30 minutes expiry of a pizza, flavor, and maybe a 2 months in expiry of a product such as from LD Foods, which is the onions and garlic, right? So in all the three cases, what we observe is that traceability has been an issue somewhere or the other. So since traceability is something which is missing and was not possible in the past and is available now in a model which farm to plate is giving, which is you use and pay by you charge and you use by minutes or whatever the way you want to do it. But at the end of the day, the beauty is that things are in your control, which were out of control and you could not imagine, and neither you were capacitated to have that kind of technology behind your back, which was readily available. So in case of POWs, they can break down for the packaging size, since it's a B2B kind of a scenario. Maybe 6 buns in a polypack would be a good option for them to go ahead. For pizza, dispensers would be the biggest challenge, as Mr. Mahendra was saying. The taste would change if you add a little more of seasoning or a little more of any flavor. The outcome of the pizza would be ruined. So for them, tracking every ingredient has been used by the chef while delivering is a big challenge. It can make or break the entire business model. So if they have a QR code on every ingredient and they just need to scan it through the scanner and or on a phone, they would be assured that the pizza was delivered the way they wanted, the way the recipe was structured around. And similarly for LD Foods, if they are monitoring the packaging, which is the tertiary packaging or the primary packaging, in a way that it's scanned and ensured that the freshness remains. This is going to be one of the biggest wins for them in the food industry. So with that, I leave the thought with other listeners and participants to think through this and let us know, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev ji. Really appreciate that inputs.
Now, I would like to add something. This is my supply chain that I'm using. So,
Sure.
for burn to be perfect, the maida has to be perfect, and by maida I mean the gluten content. So,
Right.
if you can just introduce a KPI like this maida has a 8% gluten content or this maida has a 10% gluten content, then I can be sure of my final product and I need not have to test it again in my lab and check the gluten content value.
Okay.
So I think this will be a game changer for the entire bread industry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will take that input. Thank you. Anyone else? Any questions? All right. With that, we now see the end of the today's webinar. Thank you so much once again for participating, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks everyone for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.